Hi everyone, welcome back to the Zicast. I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by Public Relations Specialist Emily Meyer.
Hi.
Yeah, so great to have you, Emily. So on my show, I interview people, get to know them better, and I'm hyped to learn more about you. So how about you kick things off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. So my name is Emily Meyer. I'm from Long Island, New York, South Shore. You'll definitely hear a little accent in my voice. But yeah, I am a part of the 3+1 communications program at Quinnipiac. I'm majoring in PR, public relations, and I have a double minor in media studies and social media strategy. And this is my last year of undergrad, which is crazy. So I'm going to graduate in May with my bachelor's, and then next year I will be getting my master's in also public relations.
What really led you into wanting to study public relations?
Yeah, so I did not know what public relations was really. I don't feel like it's not too popular in high school when students are talking about different majors. I feel like on TikTok you hear, oh, she got a PR package, and that's all people hear. But I actually started a toy drive when I was little, when I was about 5 years old. And I've been running it since. This is about 16 years now in this December. But while I was doing that, I really loved it. I loved it so much having a nonprofit organization. It actually turned to a 501(c)(3) when I was in, I want to say middle school. And I loved the networking and running events and doing things like that. And I was like, what is this? Like, what major is this? Because I love it so much and I want to continue it. And, I was talking to my mom, and we found out that it kind of falls under the branch of communications. And I was like, wow, I really like this. I think I want to major in this. So I did my research, and I was really loving Quinnipiac's program for the 3+1 because it is just so amazing, saving time, money, really great professors, really good learning, hands-on experience. And I decided to join and commit. And then for freshman year, I also was a part of the LLC, which is the Living Learning Community. So I was able to live with other people within communications, but we all had our little differences. Someone was journalism and PR or film. So it was great going into classes, having some friends, and, doing it together a little bit. But ever since I've loved PR, I love doing campaigns and branding and marketing and I love the networking, I love public speaking, everything along there.
The toy drive is kind of like a PR campaign, but not in the way that you typically would think of one.
Yeah,
It-
kind of. It's a
mm,
nonprofit organization that I have,
mm.
but running it and actually representing an organization, doing the social media, holding events, publicly speaking at different things as well. It is doing PR just in a different manner, and I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I was just doing what I had to do for the organization, and I was so glad I found out that that was an actual major I could study.
Kind of take us into the toy drive a bit more. Like, what was your motivations in starting that, and what did that whole process look like?
Yeah, so it's one of my favorite little stories to tell. It all started in on Christmas 2009. I was 4 years old, and I had a severe allergic reaction to a medicine I was taking. I was little. They put me on penicillin, which is a pretty normal thing. Turns out I'm allergic to it and pretty severe. It was Christmas Day, so I had all my presents from Santa, and family was over, and I was watching a Barbie movie with my aunt that night. And all of a sudden, I started not feeling good, and I got up. We were laying on like a couch or a bed, and I got up and I couldn't walk. No walking, I couldn't breathe well. So my whole family runs in. I was basically like paralyzed from the waist down. I had hives and rashes all over my body. They were going to my throat. And so they rushed me to the hospital. I stayed overnight, and thankfully they figured it all out and I was feeling better. But the next morning, I woke up with a big bag of gifts on the end of my bed. And I remember it to this day. There was SpongeBob pajamas, building blocks, a Barbie, things like that. And as a little kid, I was like so excited. It's like two Christmases. Um, and so when I got it, my mom was like, you know what? Let's talk to somebody. Santa already gave you presents. Let's give it to somebody who may need it more. And the lady, she was from the child life department in the hospital I was staying in. She said, no, we insist. You keep it. You take this home. Every kid in the hospital during the holidays deserves to feel the joy of the holidays while they're there. Even though this was the day after Christmas, it was still the holiday season. And I felt so special. I was so happy. I'm a little kid, but who doesn't love toys as a little kid? So then the next year, when I was 5 and it was Christmas rolled around again, I thought to myself, what happened the year before? And that's all I could remember. And I was like, we need to bring toys to the sick kids in the hospitals. I thought that was a thing that they do, which they do, but every year I was like, we have to do it now. We got to do it now. And so I was really, really close to my grandfather who's passed, but we were so close. I went to him and he's like, okay, let's do it. So with the help of my family and my grandpa, we were able to collect about I want to say 20 toys the first year. We brought them to the hospital. They were so happy. They were like, oh my gosh, we remember you, whatever. And since then, I've just kept doing the toy drive every holiday season. It has grown so much. It started off with me, doing it in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Then I got my Girl Scout troop into it. Then fourth and fifth grade, I got my elementary school to do it with me. Then I was off to middle school, and I remember in middle school we reached one holiday season, we reached 1,000 toys, which I thought was huge. Now I've gotten so much more, but that was a big milestone. I started getting other schools in my town and pizzerias and dance studios getting involved. Then it grew so much to the point that other communities around my town were getting involved, and it was truly incredible. Grew so much to the point that I was actually got onto a section or a segment of the Good Morning America show, which was just so incredible. But that's my story of how it got started. I love it. I don't know a holiday season without the toy drive because it's just an every year thing. We've expanded so much to now I donate throughout the year as well. So our primary time is the holiday season, but I also love to go. I just went over spring break. I'm due a bunch in the summer, things like that.
When you first started the story and you said like being in the hospital, giving the toys back to the kids, I was gonna say, wow, you're like Santa. You very much saw it's the story almost sounds like a Christmas movie in a way, the way that
Yeah.
everything unfolded, and then you were able to kind of grow up in this and grow up in doing that, and kind of like you said, you attributed all the skills that you eventually used as a PR professional. I'll get into the Good Morning America segment in a little bit because that's amazing, but how was it? How were you able to kind of grow up in this, and what kind of things did it teach you as the years went on?
It has been such an amazing experience, but one thing for sure, I know it's made me a lot more mature. I would say ever since I was little, everybody said I've always had an old soul. And so I've always been pretty mature, but doing this really gave me another level of responsibility because I was doing school, a job, all my APs and honor classes, clubs, sports, seeing family and friends, and the toy drive. It was like a whole nother job essentially. As I got older, I was running the social media account. I was doing events all the time. But yeah, it's really taught me maturity, the beauty in communicating and networking with people. I know so many people because of this now, and it's quite literally amazing. I love doing our events, when my town has their spring fling or their fall festival, I was always there. I would do, crafts with the kids and face painting and really just such a fun time. But growing up with it is so different because to me, I thought it was such a normal thing. Whereas as I grew up and met friends, they were like, you have a nonprofit? Like, what? Like, I was like, yeah, it is whatever. I do it during Christmas. It's no big deal. And they're like, what do you mean? Like you have to pack toys for hours and bring them to the hospitals and this and that. And I was like, yeah, but it's Christmas, so why not? All my friends thought it was crazy, but to me, it was just such a normal thing. My family's been such an amazing support system with it, and they've helped me each and every year, and it's literally so normal for us. And as I got older, I learned like this is not a normal thing for students, but I love it. It's taught me so much, and I really don't know. I feel like I would be boring without it.
Giving back, there's nothing quite like it, especially at that age where you can kind of
Mhm.
learn more about other people. And like you said, network with so many other people through it and kind of have like a communication school of your own. Like you said, being able to run the social media. So let's kind of get into that Good Morning America segment. How about you take us into what that was all like?
That was absolutely incredible. Before that, I have been interviewed by my local news. It's called News 12 on Long Island,
Mhm.
and different websites. Some people did stories on me. It was always so fun. I have been on a podcast before about it. That was really cool. But this was like no other.
Mhm.
They, I didn't know this at the time, but they were looking for students or kids, I think under 18, that were doing good deeds or good services during the holiday time.
Mhm.
And one day I was doing, I think it was like assistant coaching the middle school volleyball team just for like community service for fun. And I got a call and they were like, "Hi, this is so and so from Good Morning America. We'd love to talk to you further about things." And at first, like growing up, I was always told, like, don't answer random phone calls. So this was random at first. I'm like, okay. And unfortunately, I have encountered like fake, phony, not real situations.
Mhm.
So I listened to this voicemail and I'm like, it's fake. Like, this is not real. Whatever. So I left it. And then I'm thinking about it and I was like, maybe it's not. Maybe it is real. Didn't, it's hard to look up phone numbers and such. So I was like,
Mhm.
maybe I will just call back. We'll see. Whatever. I totally thought it was a scam. So I just called back. I was like, hi. I didn't give away any information yet because I was scared. I was like, hi, you called this number to discuss some things about Good Morning America. And they're like, yes, hi, is this Emily? We want to talk to her about her toy drive. And I was like, yes, this is she. This is her. Hi. And they said essentially, they want to do a segment on kids giving back during the holiday time. And they were like, because you are under 18, we have to talk to your parent about things like, permission and getting there and whatnot. So I said, okay. I gave them some information about me. I gave them my parents' number. They ended up calling my parent, which I was like, they're not going to follow up. Like, whatever. They did. And next thing you know, we had a limo sent to my house at like 5 in the morning one day. I think it was December 15th in 2022. And I felt so fancy. I got all dressed up. We went in the limo, drove us to the city, which Long Island, it's nice. We're fairly close. Got there. They were this really cool green room. I had boxed water. Like I thought I was the fanciest thing in the world. They didn't really tell me what they were going to ask me, so I was nervous because it was going to be pretty much on the spot. They were like, "Yeah, we'll just ask about the foundation. Now you got started." And I was like, "Okay, like who's asking what?" They get me all set up, mic'd up, fixed my hair, fixed this and that. They were getting our Starbucks order. It was amazing. And they were like, okay, are you ready? And I said, yeah, thinking we have 5 or 10 minutes before. I walk in, I see Michael Strahan. He's huge. I was like, whoa. He gave me his hand, and his hand, took over my hand, my little hand. And I believe Ginger was also there. And they sat me down. They're like, okay, you ready? I was like, yeah. And they were like, okay, three, two, one, go. I was like, I did not think it was gonna be so quick, and it was. And no, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I just smiled the whole time. I think I smiled a little too much, but it's okay. And they interviewed me. There was balloons. I got a special like coat from the hospital that all of this started from, like an ambassador, the toy ambassador. And then Santa walked out with a big check for my foundation. It was absolutely amazing. And then I got to spend the rest of the day in the city with my mom, just having the best time.
What was the whole segment like?
It was fairly on the fly, so I was
Mhm.
a little nervous and I was like, oh, don't stutter, don't this, don't that. But I think I did fairly well. They kind of just asked me, how it got started, my how my community helps out and like what I do essentially. It was only like 3 or 4 questions. It's fairly quick. And then
Mhm.
they surprised me with this, like I said, this coat. Like it was like kind of like a lab doctor hospital coat, as now I am the toy ambassador for Good Samaritan Hospital on Long
Mhm.
Island. And then they said, we have one more surprise for you. And I was like, I had no clue. I had no clue what was happening, nor did my mom. She's smiling behind the cameras with her phone, just like glowing. And Santa walks out with this big check saying they want to donate this money to me. It was absolutely insane. I'm so grateful. Balloons dropped down. I was like, wow, this is so TV. And yeah, that was that. It was fairly quick, but it was just so much fun and such a cool experience. And then even afterwards, like I said, my mom and I spent the day in the city. People were coming up to me and they were like, wait, are you the girl? And I was like, what? They're like, you're the girl in Good Morning America today. And I was like, yeah, hey, that was me. They're like, oh my gosh. Like somebody took a picture. It was so funny. Celebrity for the day, I guess. This was also my senior year in high school. So
Mhm.
everything was just so fun. Apparently my school was watching, like my
Mhm.
chorus class was watching. All my friends were trying to watch too on their phone. It was so fun. It was a really, really great experience. It's honestly one of my best icebreakers at college.
And is there a live audience for Good Morning America or no?
The part for me, no. I maybe for other sections, but for me, I remember just looking, there was a gazillion cameras
Mhm.
and like people directing stuff. It was so fast and so quick. My mom was just standing between all of it. And yeah, that's what I remember. It was like three different stages, and I was in one of them with Michael Strahan and Ginger. So fun.
And really kind of brings everything full circle where you just started this kind of just wanting to give back and then it gets recognized in all of these different ways and really kind of paves the way for what you want to do. And I'm curious, the kind of since we're reflecting on what you've been able to do with the toy drive, what do you think it really or how do you think all those experiences have kind of prepared you for what you've kind of stepped into now at Quinnipiac and as you seek professional opportunities?
It's definitely prepared me to be open-minded, take as many opportunities and experiences as you can, even if you think it's a scam, you never know. Um, Take opportunities, you know, listen to your gut and don't be afraid. I was so scared to talk and stutter and stumble. It always works out in the end. And I just really feel like giving back, there's no better feeling than giving back. To this, I
Mhm.
don't just do the toy drive. I donate old Legos and clothes and this and that. It's just a simple task that just makes the world of a difference for others. You could change somebody's day just like this, and you wouldn't even know. You might make them the happiest person in the world just by a simple little Barbie doll. And I just think it's the best. So having these experiences, I am so grateful and so lucky. I'm happy I'm able to spread my message to others. I've had so many people donate, and I thank them too, because without donations, I really wouldn't be able to do anything that I do. But these experiences have been life-changing, and I'm just so grateful for them.
And you'll never know how it'll impact somebody too. And that's just what the best of what a kind deed can do for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious if you recommend to someone, or what you would recommend to someone who wants to start something like this and would want to start a campaign or a nonprofit like this, what would you recommend to them?
I would say do it. Do it, do
Mm.
it, do it. Know that it's going to be a lot of work. Everything is not going to go smooth and easy. I mean, that's life. Life comes with its ups and downs. But reach out if you're passionate about something, or if like you have an experience that happens to you like me and you want to just give back, just do it. Like go for it. The worst that can happen is that there's a few bumps in the road, but you can still keep going. Don't let people limit you. Don't let people say things. I've had in high school, I've always done the toy drive. I've done it since I was little. This wasn't a thing I started in just high school, and people can start things in high school, and that's honestly amazing. Some people would say, oh, she's just doing it for the scholarships, or oh, she's just doing it for the good college essay. No, 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 no. Don't listen to those people. Do you, focus on you. And if you're really passionate about something, do it, especially if it's giving back. Because giving back in a world like today, we need as much positivity, and positive energy that we could use. So I say just go for it and always you always have a good, rely on your support system. Whether it might just be one person, might just be your best friend. I'm grateful enough. I have my whole family, my friends, my boyfriend, everybody that I rely on as well. So it's really good to rely on your support system too, because it is hard to do things completely alone, but you can do it. You can do it.
And you start alone and then you create a community through it, like what you were able to do, which makes it all the more sweeter. And then you kind of took everything you learned and then brought it to what you've been able to do at Quinnipiac University. Can you take us into some of the things you do? Like I know you're the director of the Learning Commons media team. Can you tell us about that?
The toy drive has been such a great way for me to feel comfortable and now come into new opportunities like this. So I am the director of the Learning Commons media team. It is the best thing in the whole wide world. I love it. Um, Basically, What I do is at Quinnipiac in the library, we have a learning commons, and that serves as a really, really resourceful place that they have a ton of services for completely free. And what I do on the media team is basically just represent them and bring more awareness to them. Some students don't even know what the learning commons is, or if they know it, they're like, I don't even know what it does. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it does. So what I do as the director is make sure that all three departments within the Learning Commons is being fairly represented and that students are able to go to them and use their resources. For instance, there's the free tutoring, meeting with your academic coaches and specialists. There's also OSA, which is used for accommodations and things like that. So what I do is I do a lot of emails, I can't lie. But every week I meet with my amazing supervisor, Nicole, and I also meet with my team. This is not just me. I have a fantastic team, and we're all really close. We're really good friends, but they're also amazing coworkers. So we meet every week to talk about different projects. Everyone has a different role. With that comes different projects as well. And I pretty much oversee everything, make sure things are running smoothly. I have the communication between the supervisors and staff and then the team. And we basically just do whatever projects are needed to be done, whether that's we always keep up with Instagram and Facebook and, helping students and parents learn about the Learning Commons. We do videos, we do flyers and posters. If the OSA team needs us to let students know, hey, you got to renew your housing accommodations, we will do a flyer for that. We will help with trainings. We do the open houses. It's really an amazing job with an amazing team, and I love it. And it's definitely going to help my professional career. I love being the director, and it's been amazing.
And in a way, you're kind of giving back to Quinnipiac students in a way, so it's kind of that connective thread of still giving back, just in a different way, and being able to really apply all of those public relations skills. And I also know you're a treasurer of, is it pronounced PRESA or the PRSSA?
PRSSA.
So what kind of skills and experiences have you been able to build there?
As a public relations major during the engagement fair, I was like, let me find some clubs and things that I could help. So, of course, I stumbled upon PRSSA, which is Public Relations Student Society of America. A little bit of a mouthful, but it's all good. Basically, what we do is it's kind of refining all of those PR skills in a club. So we do headshot nights because you always need that. We do workshops for your LinkedIn or for your resume. We do real PR work, like we have actual clients that we'll do some press releases for. We are really close with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We actually just delivered a check of money that we raised for them at a Chuck-a-Puck from a hockey game. But as the treasurer, I handle the budget, purchase requests, things that the organization needs, which is totally different because I don't do much with money and finances, especially in my major. It's not my thing. But for PRSSA, it's really great. I'm a big organization type of girly. And so being able to organize the budget every semester, decide what we need, what we don't need, it comes with planning events, brainstorming. Um, I love doing it. I like the team. Everybody is great. And it's almost similar to the agency at Quinnipiac, which I was also on, which was another fantastic experience. This was why I love QU so much. So yeah, we're kind of like a mini PR firm. There is a greater PR essay, which is kind of like the whole nation, whereas PRSSA is more for colleges.
And could you tell us a bit about the agency? Because I've have a lot of friends there know about what a lot of what they do. I always joke it sounds like the CIA because it's called the agency.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if you could tell us a bit more about that because I know it's kind of like what even though you're students, you're doing real world
hmm
professional like PR work. Can you tell us a bit about that?
100%. The agency is another reason, like I said, I absolutely love Quinnipiac for this, specifically the School of Communications, because it is a student-run firm, essentially, within the School of Communications, where students meet, you meet like a class, and it is 3 credits, like a normal class, but you go to class and the professors don't tell you what to do. Everyone gets different roles in the beginning, what your job is, what client you're representing, are you on social media or photo video, but you have to figure things out yourself and really think like an account executive for a client. So my client was actually the agency itself because each year you're always like updating, renovating, there's events that you have to do. So I was in charge of the agency itself. And so I met with my co-account executive. We figured out, hey, what's coming up? What do we need to know? Is everyone on track with social media posts? We need this flyer out tomorrow. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And you're kind of like mini bosses, I guess, and figuring things out of what does your client need, when do they need it, and how can we get it out. Basically running like an agency, like a PR agency. It was so fun. I had the best peers and classmates to work with. I actually applied for it to do it again in my grad year in the fall, so hoping for that. But it's fantastic. I recommend it to anybody. You don't have to be in the School of Communications to do it. You could do, I know a lot of business majors do it, marketing, things like that. But it is a fantastic opportunity. It looks amazing on the resume as well.
Something else
Right.
I forgot to mention when bringing up the agency, they started a podcast this past fall semester, and I'm very grateful they actually consulted me to help with it. So
Oh,
I kind of
nice.
brought a lot of my own experience into what they do, and I got very small glimpse into what they do, and I was able to go to their showcase at the end of the
Mm.
semester where they um, show off all the clients and what they were able to do. Something I'm sure that you could take us into, but it was really amazing getting to see what the agency does and getting to be a small part of it. What was your own showcase like for you, if you could kind of take the audience into that?
It was fantastic. Like I said, I was the account executive for the agency itself. So at the end of the semester, we do a big presentation and show off all the work that we've done, everything we're proud of. Everyone takes turns because this was not just a job by me. You have a whole team behind you, and everyone kind of takes turns stepping up, kind of like a presentation, but a bit more important, and just explaining your work and why you did it. Why you did it is really important because in PR, you don't just pick a random target audience. You have to pick them based on your client, like because they are interested or they pay attention or they're potential consumers of that. And everyone gets a chance to speak. I've met some of my best friends from the agency as well. I still keep in touch with people today. You get all dressed up, really fun business, feel so super big girl, I guess you could say. And we put on an amazing time. I am so grateful to all the professors of the agency. I know I had Dr. Powers and Professor Cisco, Dr. Cisco, but I know also Dr. Laskin is doing it as well, and he's awesome. So it was really rewarding, a very rewarding experience, very proud. We've done this work for the whole semester. Now we're finally able to show it off.
And do you have any specific memories or anything you want to highlight from all of your PR experiences at Quinnipiac, like anything that really stands out?
What stands out? I've had amazing professors. I'll give them a shout out, Professor Obstin, Professor Cisco. Everybody's so good. Professor Powers. Uh, I would just say their teachings have been amazing. I feel like I came in freshman year kind of scared, kind of like I can't do this on my own. You gain so much more confidence, I think, in learning what to do, how to do it, and really in a non-cocky way, I guess, like you are in charge. If you're working for a client, you can't be scared to be like, oh, should we do a press release? No, no, no. You decide yes or no and why. And I think Quinnipiac, especially in the classes, you learn so many foundational skills and the more you do them, the more you become confident in them. And I feel as though it's fit for me. It's not for everybody, which is totally fine. But if it is fit for you, just lean on those foundational skills, act fast. Always good to be transparent, communication. We learn that. And I think it's really fun. I'm really excited for my future to see what other clients and agencies and things I can work on. I have actually a fun internship coming up this summer that I'm really excited. It's with a PR firm on Long Island, and I'm really just excited to use all these skills and things I've learned from school and apply them to real life, and you pretty much got it. So.
Reflecting on all of your experiences, what advice would you have?
I would say definitely get involved. I feel like everybody says that to any college, or prospective students. But it's true. If you're not involved, then I mean, you could still have fun, but I just think getting involved would not only help you in the now and the present and learning and having fun experiences, but it will also help you in the future. It helps with getting things on your resume, getting that experience, learning from things, making mistakes. I'm a very type A perfectionist, so making mistakes was really hard for me because I feel like I don't like making mistakes, but I've realized you kind of have to. And so to any student, not that you should be thinking about your future every second of the day, but doing little things every day, such as getting involved, bettering yourself, take care of yourself too in college. That's a big thing, not just with PR or anything. Doing those things, I think, will really set you up for success for not only a good college time, but also prepare you for the future. And in PR, like I said before, don't, be shy to speak out, be confident. It's I don't want to say mostly women, but there's a good amount of girls in the PR field, which I absolutely love. So I think, as a girl, as a woman, don't be afraid to speak up for what you believe in. If you want to do a cool project, do it. Go for it. That's my advice.
And I think PR lends itself to very type A people, people who
Yeah.
are very organized, very persistent, very about their business.
Yeah.
And I very much agree with what you said about getting involved too, because speaking on my college experience, getting involved in extracurriculars, doing things outside of class, that's what really brought me the best connections and I would say the most success in my time and the things
Yeah.
that really set me up to find more opportunities after school and make the things that I really remember reflecting on my own experience. And to kind of continue furthering the interview, I'd like to ask you some kind of fun get to know you questions. Like, what's something that people might not know about you, like fun facts?
I have a lot of fun
Yeah.
facts. My
You
friends all
shared your
joke.
biggest one already, but
Yeah.
if you have any others.
My friends all joke that I should write a book because I just have a crazy good life stories, you know?
Mhm.
But a big thing people might not know about me is I have a very big, beautiful blended family.
Mhm.
My family is huge, and I would not have it any other way. When I was little, my parents separated and I was able to get like a stepmom and a stepdad. And when you get step parents, you get their families as well. I've been very lucky and I have so many people supporting me. And I literally at one point I have like four sets of grandparents. It's actually insane, but I love them all so much. I have a bunch of um, half siblings and step siblings, but I consider everyone my sibling. Everybody's family. That's another big thing too. I think people who, like your family doesn't just have to be your blood. My family, for instance, like my sisters are half Puerto Rican. I am not, and just because they might not be exact same blood, friends and family, I combine them. That's just something about me. Maybe that's why my family, I think, is so big, but we don't go by just blood. I think everyone can be. I have back at home, I call them my Strawberry Park family. These are a bunch of families that we go on vacations with. We would go to this camping ground, actually in Connecticut too. It's like more east. But they're my family too. 100%. My best friends, they're my family. Like my boyfriend, basically my family at this point. Like I love having so many people around me. Everybody different backgrounds, whatever that may be. Just coming together to love and support each other.
And I think that's boded very well for your career because really in PR, you're really or really through communications, I should say, you're bringing people together. You're kind of like we talked about
Yeah.
creating a community and having this big family, a lot of different experiences, I'm sure. Being able to bring that all together, I think has really boded well for you. And like I said before, your life really is a movie. So we're kind of continuing this forward. What's
Yeah.
one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike?
One thing I absolutely love is traveling. I've
Mm,
been so grateful to travel with a bunch of my family and family
mm,
members to several states. We're a big Disney family, I can't lie. That's
mm,
mostly my mom. But actually out of the country a bunch of times. I've been to Ireland, Italy, Greece, Punta Cana, Aruba, a bunch of places. I even was traveling right before COVID hit. That was
mm.
really crazy. But I just think seeing the world is something everybody needs to do. It's hard to come by, things are expensive, timing is difficult, but just learning about the world outside of your town is so important. Seeing different cultures, meeting different people. I absolutely love it. I think your job's awesome. You get to talk to a bunch of different people all the time and learn about all these cool experiences. So I love traveling. And one thing I dislike, negative people.
Mhm.
It's plain old. I just think today we live in such a day where everybody's like, "Oh, this is so bad. Why does this always happen to me?" Blah 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 blah. They're always looking at what's wrong, where really I think we should be looking a little bit more positively. Like, what is going I am so grateful for things. You got to think about it. People don't realize, they have a roof over your head. You have food every day. You have people surrounding you. You are getting an education. You have medicine to make you better. I think it's those simple things that people do forget. And it really, really, really bugs me when people are negative all the time because there's just so much to be grateful for.
You could be the glass half full or the glass half empty, and glass half full will always be more fulfilling in the end. And I'm curious, do you have any, of all the places you've traveled to, do you have a favorite?
That's really hard. I loved Italy.
Hmm.
Loved Italy. People say Rome is awesome, which it is, but I would say Florence is one of my top fives or top faves. Greece was amazing for my senior trip. This was awesome. We got to go to Greece with my best friends. Absolutely amazing. But we just went to like the mainland, like Athens and up in the mountains. But this summer, I'm actually so excited. I'm going to be going on a Greece cruise. So we're going to be going to like Santorini, Mykonos, all those things. That's like my ultimate dream. So Greece and Italy are definitely the faves.
Has all your traveling, has that taught you anything more about your field at all, like kind of widening perspective?
100%. Like I said, meeting different types of people, seeing how they've come from different backgrounds, it really opens your eyes at like, whoa, America's so different to some things. And I think, yeah, like you said, it gives you a new perspective on just people and life. Also, when you're working with people, some things can be more difficult or more challenging, but always think like, you don't know what's going on in someone's life. You don't know where they came from, what happened, anything like that. So just be kind. But I just think learning about different cultures and the food and how, in Europe, people take a lot of naps. We don't take naps. We're so hustle culture and everything's go, 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 which I like a go, go, go. I like to stay busy. But, life is short. Take your time, enjoy it, enjoy the little moments. I feel like they do that a lot more in European countries. So sometimes it's good to just take a step back, take a deep breath.
Yeah, and they walk a lot more because a lot of their places are walkable. Some of the freshest food, because I
Oh,
through Quinnipiac, I was able to go to France for a couple weeks
amazing.
for the Cannes Film Festival, and I just absolutely loved just how walkable everything was, how
Yep.
fresh everything was, how
I
nice the sun
completely
hits you.
Completely agree. I have
Mm,
some like stomach issues, so a bunch of food bothers me. But when I'm over there, like anywhere in Italy, I could eat anything and be perfectly fine.
mm,
It is so fresh. I do love walking. It's a lot of walking, but it's so good for you. Walking is not bad for you at all. So,
mm,
it's very good. I just think they have better practices over there in
mm,
general.
mm.
Like why is America the only one that has like Fahrenheit, which, things like that. But
Yeah.
no, traveling is such an amazing thing. I think people need to see the world more. 100%. It teaches you so much.
Mhm. Yeah, and kind of to build on what you said, it's also balancing that with the America go 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 versus the
Yeah.
European a bit more relaxed. I think finding that balance is something I want to continue to strive for, and I'm sure um, you could speak to that yourself from your travels. And to kind of build on this as well, I'd like to ask you, what are some of your hopes and dreams, personally or professionally?
So I don't have an exact dream job or dream life. I want to see more of the world, as I've said. I want to continue in PR and get as many connections and do as much networking as I possibly can. Hopefully down the road get married, have kids. But I don't have anything specific. I think I would want to stay on the East Coast. I'm an East Coast girl. I love, I've actually never been to California, so who knows if I'd like it. But in terms of job, stay in PR. I'm gonna be trying to work at different agencies and firms for internships and see how that's like. I know it's a bit of a hustle bustle and you're working on something in the morning and a different company in the afternoon and so on and so forth. But I do have a friend that did that to start, and then she got pulled in-house by a company. I believe it was Ancestry.com, which is so cool. They were the place she was in, that was their client. She was working for them. They liked her so much, they pulled her, and then she was able to work her way to the top at Ancestry. And I thought that was a really cool thing too. So we'll see where life takes me. I would love to work for a cool company one day, but we'll see. Right now, I am so happy with school. Can't believe I'm graduating, but that's that.
And you have so much to draw upon too from all your different experiences, all the things you've been able to learn, different people you've been able to meet. So I'm sure the path will pave itself in kind of unconventional ways, like how the whole toy drive started. I'm sure that's something, like you
Oh
said, you
yeah.
never expected to do. And to kind of ask you a fun question I ask all my guests, what are some of your favorite movies and why do they resonate with you?
Okay, so here's the thing. I've watched a lot of good movies,
Mhm.
but this is my favorite movie. I just have one. One favorite. Everything else is good. Love movies. My favorite movie of all times, don't laugh. It's Mamma Mia. I don't know
That's
if
a
you've
great
ever seen
choice.
it
Mhm.
or heard of it. Okay, amazing. Because of several reasons. It all started when I was little, actually around the time that the toy drive started. My mom was pregnant with my twin sisters, and she's a really small lady. And so being pregnant with twins, getting up and down from the couch, like a little hard. And so I was a little girl, and someone bought me the DVD, back when we had DVDs, for Mamma Mia. Probably too young at 4 years old to watch Mamma Mia, but whatever. I loved it. And because my mom was on the couch, I just kept playing it over and over and over again. I watched it so much, my whole family's sick of it. I learned the songs, the dances, everybody. I thought I was Sophie. She's one of the main girls because she has blonde hair, blue eyes. I then got to see it. I've seen it on Broadway 3 times. I've seen it off Broadway a million times. And I really, really like the movie too, because it almost resonates with me in a way. This is more personal, like family stuff, but basically she's doesn't know who her dad is and she invites him to her wedding. I don't know my biological father. I've had people and step parents and everybody that's raised me that I love so much, but I actually don't know my biological father either. So I thought that was always like really fun. But she lives in Greece. She has this amazing life. They break out into song all the time. When I tell you I've memorized the dances, when Mamma Mia 2 came out, my mom got us a special like early screening to it, like with all the critics and everything, which was so cool. But it is my absolute favorite movie of all times. You could give me a quiz on it. I even have a tattoo of a quote from it because I love it so much. So Mamma Mia is my jam. I love ABBA. All the songs are
Mhm.
inspired by ABBA. But that's a little fun quirk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's fitting for you because you go all in on things, that you would go all in on your fandom of this movie. And it really speaks to really why I asked this question because it always says something about the person I'm asking it to. And to see how this movie's resonated with you on so many different levels, I think
Yeah.
it really speaks to, well, what really good movies can do. And also it kind of just speaks to yourself and what kind of your passions are, and then kind of everything you were able to talk about here, Emily. So thank you so much for your time and for coming on the show.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I am so excited to share this with my family and friends. You are awesome, and I really appreciate your time today.
Of course, thank you. And do you have any plugs or motivational words or anything you would want to leave the audience with before we wrap things up here?
This is something you touched on before about balance, and I think that is something I was raised, thank you, Mom, on that balance is so important. Everything in life needs balance,
Mhm.
whether that's balancing time with family and friends or balancing work with, home life, balancing hanging out with your boyfriend versus hanging out with your best friends. Everything in life needs a balance, and it can be difficult to find that balance. But once you do, and once you strive to find balance, it'll make your life so much easier. And that's something I'm always working on, finding balance in my life between, taking care of myself and having fun and finding balance between, like I said, like work and play, things like that. So balance is really important. And also, everything happens for a reason. So if you're in a pickle, everything will work out. Don't worry, just work hard, enjoy life, slow down, take a breath. But I've had so much fun on this podcast with you. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Of course, thank you so much. Time for me to throw on some ABBA while I edit this.
Yes.
And I very much agree with what you said, striking the balance. It takes so much time and it takes so much time to find that, and it takes a
Mhm.
lot of adapting, but
Yeah.
you'll eventually get there eventually. So thank you so much again for joining us here, Emily.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with Zicast, where everyone has a story, signing off. Thank you so much for watching.